hello folks now, and welcome to another episode of the Pirate Round. I be Captain Scoutbus here, and this be the Scarlet Raven who's got Bill G with her. Bill G's angry, as we haven't done a rum review in quite a while. So we're going to do one today here for Bill G and for all the folks here who might be thinking about buying themselves a bottle of rum to share with their friends. But first we do that, now we're going to pour out here.
Would you order him to go over there?
Get over there, you rat! Don't make me make you. I'll thrash you within an inch of your life, and then I'll take that inch too. So,
Can you reach over there?
yar.
Was that spilling a drop?
No,
That's some precious stuff.
Yeah, the Jamaican Mountain Red here, poured
Jamaican Mountain
from the cursed crystal skull. Prayed over by a necromancer deep in the jungles of Jamaica.
Witch doctor.
Him too. And so we say to you folks, welcome to this episode of the Pirate Round. We're happy you're here. Yar har.
Your heart.
So,
That's good.
right.
Now, Captain, if I mentioned Rhode Island and a pirate who died from a cannon shot,
He did.
who would you think of?
Well, I'd be thinking there of Thomas Tew. Now, he was a famous pirate who had gone to the pirate round. He'd sailed it all the way around and come back with many, many riches.
And he actually had retired.
He had retired, but all the people there were so incensed at the fact that he had brought stuff back for them that they made him go again and captain another
The governor
flotilla.
of New York
Yar.
and Rhode Island.
Yar. So he had to sail all the way back over there and got himself killed by a cannon shot from a mogul ship.
And when he did so, he met up with another famous pirate who's one of your favorite pirates.
Yar.
who is-
Henry Avery.
That's right, Henry
That's
Avery.
right. So, to celebrate the spirit of Thomas Tew,
To celebrate.
we have Thomas Tew rum. This was not easy to get. It's
This was
sort
quite
of
hard to
rare.
get.
It's what's that?
It's quite hard to get.
It's quite hard
We
to
got
get.
it sailing along the coast of the
Yeah.
Americas.
Yar. Thomas Tew
Sailing over
rum.
to the pirate ground.
Thomas Tew rum is one of these modern rums that's sort of craft made. You have the people's. You might see them down walking along the streets there. They've got the big long beards and they dress like lumberjacks and stuff like that.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
No, I don't care.
No, I'm not a lumberjack.
No,
I'm a pirate.
exactly. And so, they make these craft spirits, they call them. And so we're going to look at this here, Thomas Tew, and we're going to decide what we think about it. Now,
It's a cool bottle.
Yeah, it's a very cool bottle. And it says here, authentic pot-stilled rum from Newport, Rhode Island, USA. Distilled by
So an
Newport
American rum.
Distilling.
An American one.
Yeah. Distilled by Newport Distilling Company, Newport, Rhode Island. Barrel number 273. 42% alcohol. That's a little warm when you think about it.
And now when we saw Thomas Tew rum, we thought we've got to try this rum.
Right, well, it's got
Because
history to
It's
it.
got history to it.
It not only is it from Rhode Island, it's got Thomas Tew's name on it.
Right, and it's got Thomas Tew's proposed flag, which actually is not. It's, the hand holding the cutlass up, the old
That thing with the cutlass.
right, or whatever, saber, or whatever you
It's a
want to call it.
saber. Does it have it on there? Oh, it does.
Yeah, it's got his logo.
You can't
So
really
we'll
see
hold
it that
up there.
well.
Hopefully you can see it, but it's just
Yeah.
like the flag that he proposally had, and then it's waxed sealed, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's got that wax drip on it. Sort of the craft stillers like to do that to make it seem as if their stuff is more important than it actually is.
It's got a fine color. You can see it. It's
Got a good color.
It's got a beautiful
It's got
caramel
a beautiful
color.
amber color there. Very fine looking.
According to the ship's surgeon general, women should not drink alcohol. Well, I don't like to be excluded. That's
Right.
not very fine.
That's not very feministic of them.
That's right. Just because we women pirates doesn't mean we can't drink our rum.
Yeah. Well, before we
right.
talk anymore, now let's get a little bit of the stuff poured out. So we
Oh,
can-
during pregnancy. But I'm not pregnant. I definitely don't. I'm not pregnant with a rat. A
I
rat's
hope
been
not.
cuddling up next to me at night.
Oh, well,
between
that's
us,
the way it goes.
But,
pour us out the dram there, Scarlet Raven. We'll have a
Okay.
sip.
now,
Boy, they nailed it shut, huh?
it's not a real cork. It's a plastic cork.
Well, I'm not judging everybody about stuff
You
like that.
can't judge a rum by its cork.
Yes, you can. Now we'll have a taste here.
Is it real or is it cork?
Well, it's got the strong flavor, very strong smell, very oaky.
Some of you who were born in the 50s, 60s, and 70s might know that reference there. It's not real. It's a
cork.
It's a cork. That's not even real. Okay. We'll start with the smell here.
Very oaky.
Now
Man,
it's actually got a good smell to it.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what you think. I can't smell any rum in here. That's my biggest gripe about these craft distilled rums.
No, I take that back. It's got a smell. It's very oaky.
Exactly.
It's kind of like another rum that we just sampled. I think we're going to dub these next episodes the bad rum reviews.
Well, the Okie Brothers or something like
the
that.
Oak Brothers. I am a man of constant sorrow. Drink the rum.
It's got a good color.
It's got a great color.
I'm not sure if that's natural or artificial, but I don't know.
And once again, this is from Newport, Rhode Island. This is an American rum. This is not a Caribbean rum.
No. It is
Which right there would kind of give you a clue that maybe it's not the best. But we had hopes. We have hopes. We say that because, we're foreshadowing maybe that we've tasted this before.
Well, anyway, here you go, Scotch Raven.
Har.
There's a sweetness of the molasses and the rum in there, but really to me it's so oaky, almost tastes like whiskey.
Now swishing it around, as you know you.
Got a hellacious burn on the back.
A little bit on the side, not so much through the nose. Not so much through the nasal palate.
That's hellacious on the back there.
It's dry.
Yeah, very dry.
It's very dry.
Very dry, yeah. It's very dry.
It's got a very oak flavor. There's no sweetness to it.
Well, no, there's a little bit of sweetness when you first take it. You taste a bit of sweetness that lets you know that it is rum, but then the oak overpowers it.
Yes.
And it tastes like whiskey after that.
And it is very dry.
Very dry. Not like a bourbon has that sour taste, but oaky like an oak neutral whiskey.
Yeah.
In a barrel.
What's the percentage of alcohol by volume in this? This is 42%.
That's 42.
So it's much like another one that we did here just recently. 42% alcohol by volume.
Very dry. Now the second time around, I'm not getting much of that sweet in there.
I got to tell you though, I love the graphic and I love the bottle. I love the wax. I love the graphic because they've done this shadowing font.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's a really nice font. Small T, Thomas II.
Let's see here.
So the captain's going to be reading the tab.
Newport's reputation for fine rum is well deserved. In the late 1700s, Newport was home to 22 distilleries and known for making the finest rum in the world. That's debatable. Although the last of these distilleries closed down in 1842, the history and tradition surrounding Newport rum has remained. Part of this history includes the Thomas II, who during the rise of rum in Newport was immortalized as the Rhode Island Pirate. II had a lifelong career of privateering and pirating, and that took him from the colonies to Europe to Africa and back, although no one knows where he was born. It is known that Newport, Rhode Island is where he called home, and trading and drinking rum was an essential part of his life at sea. Now, after 3 centuries, Newport is home again to this icon and his famous spirit. Thomas II rum is inspired by the craftsmanship of times past. It is slowly made in a small pot still to replicate the rum which would have been produced in Newport long ago. The still, along with the dark molasses,
it's a molasses-based rum.
Temperate climate and local water combine to create a spirit that hasn't been available for over a century. One sip of the flavorful dark rum and you'll wonder how this tradition could have ever disappeared.
Now this is a aged 3 to 4 years black backstrap rum.
Well, I don't know.
I guess at one point Newport had up to 22 rum distilleries.
They're dumping a lot in this right here. But to me, folks, it just tastes like whiskey.
Yes.
To be true and honest, it's the craft distilling movement that people are having, and there's quite a few of them around here. they love to take neutral spirit whiskeys and they love to stick it in various bottles, and then they claim whether it's oak cask or sherry cask or it's Madeira cask or something like that. And usually it just ends up tasting like whiskey that was in an oak barrel.
Now they have a 50% reserved rum, which, man, that would be hotter than hot.
I don't see the point.
No.
No. The thing about...
They say it's a sipping rum aged 7 to 10 years.
The thing about rums, you know, folks, is you should be able to enjoy the rum flavor, the spices, you know, the dark smokiness of it, all the different flavors that the taste master has put in there.
Yeah.
You know, sip it, pass it around to your friends. This stuff, because it is so much like whiskey, I don't know, what would you do with this?
I don't know. I don't even know if it'd be a good mixer.
It's so oaky, it's so dry and oaky, you'd have to dump it in
when
with...
you burp, it comes back. It does make you kind of burp and come back.
Yeah, you'd have to dump it in with a lot of fruit juice or something.
We had great hopes on this. When we first heard and saw about Thomas 2 rum, we thought, we've got to try this rum.
Blast, that's hot.
And so, you know, I searched high and low because we can't get this in our local areas. Our local ships, ports don't have this rum.
Don't drink that fast.
And I did some searching, and we were going to do some rum ordering online.
Yar.
And I can't remember. It might have been Tequila Wholesalers or something like that. I'll try and remember and post the information down below, like I typically do.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 34, 35 coin or so that we paid for this. But we wanted to try it. We heard, you know, Thomas 2. Okay, you know, we got to give Thomas 2, who's a grand pirate, who's one of the the great pirates.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone in history there. Thomas 2 and his adventures on the Pirate Round.
Twice he went to the Pirate Round. And the second time, you know, he paid for it with his life when he was sailing with Henry and took the cannon shot. There were only I think there were 6 ships that sailed.
Oh Christ!
There were 6 ships that sailed with Avery to go take them over the ship, and only 2 were actually in the fight. One got there at the very last moment.
Keep that in the cabinet.
And one of those was Thomas 2, and he took a cannonball.
He did.
And he killed him.
I don't know. What do you see, Scarlet Raven?
So I got to tell you, between Panama Pacific, which we reviewed in one of the last episodes, and this one, I think I would take Panama Pacific.
Well,
the story behind this and the bottle of this is just so cool, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I give him credit for that.
I do too. I just wish it tasted better. I almost feel like I should dump this out and dump in like some English Harbor and fool people into thinking that's what this tastes like.
Which we haven't reviewed yet, English Harbor. And English Harbor has some, I think there's 5 rums. There's the 12-year that we haven't reviewed, but we've had live.
Yeah.
We've got to review. I think we want to try and do a live with Jason, River Pirate, if we can.
River Pirate 13
They have a Madeira cask, they have a sherry cask, they have a port cask, and then they have, I think it's a 12-year or 15-year?
Bilge rat cask.
Bilge rat cask.
Just like him. There you go, Benji. So, what would you give it here?
Well, the name I got to give it cred, and the bottle I got to give it a lot of cred. And the graphic, but the rum itself.
You know,
I think I'd be pushing it by giving it a 1.5.
Right. See, the thing, I mean, because it's got the history supposedly. I mean, you and I could brew Charles Vane rum.
Yeah.
And we could say Charles Vane, the spirit of Charles Vane.
Or Calico Jack rum. Yeah. Oh wait, there is a Calico Jack. And we'll be doing an episode sometime in the future of Calico Jack rum, which actually, if I remember right, is actually a little bit better than this.
As bad as that Calico Jack rum, it's better than this.
We'll be doing that in the future on an episode about Calico.
That's horrible. It's so dry and so oaky, and when you burp it back up, it tastes like the devil's arsehole in your mouth. It's rough.
42% alcohol by volume. It's a little bit rough.
I got to give it 1 cannon blast. Yeah. It's not worth the money.
It's not as bad as Military Special, but it's definitely some of the...
Yeah, it's the driest, oakiest liquor.
Now, there were some
I'm not even going to call it rum. I'm going to call it just liquor because there's no rum to this. Now,
there were the Pirate Round Lost episodes, which were lost, which we'll have to do sometime again when maybe we can get Captain Turner up here, which were the Cruise on Blackstrap, which I think is actually rated even above this, but we'll which was pretty bad rum.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but it had a rum flavor. This has got
kind of
nothing.
whiskey.
This is just like
whiskey.
oak flavored liquor.
For the guy, Barrel and Leaf, I think his name was, who I've talked about here before, who rated rum saying it was too sweet. Now this is probably the kind of rum that he would like.
Yeah.
Who was more of a whiskey drinker and
Yeah.
a cigar smoke.
Yeah.
This is probably his kind of rum. He doesn't like the kind of rum that we like. The Kirk and Sweeney's,
No.
the Bumbu, the Zaya, the Ron Zapata, all those kind of rums, which are just fantastic rums.
And the thing is now, is rums should have rum qualities to them.
Right.
They should have a bit of a sweetness. They should have a bit of a burn, not too much, but a bit of it. They should have a bit of a spice in it to let you know that you're actually drinking rum. The problem with Thomas 2 is it just tastes like the inside of an oak barrel. And there's just a burn, a whiskey burn to it. It could be any sort of liquor. It could be any sort of whiskey. Good Lord. It could be any sort of anything. I don't taste any rum in this. So reviewing it as a rum is a failure. Reviewing it as a whiskey, it's a dry, mild whiskey.
Yeah.
But calling it rum, it's not rum, folks. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, if you wanted your Jack and Coke, that'd be your Jack and Coke.
Yeah. I mean, let's say, for instance, you had yourself a big glass of Coke and ice, and you wanted to pour this in that. Why, that'd make a fine mixer for Coke and ice.
So I've got to say, this is actually making me quite warm. I can actually feel, the heat in my head now. From that, it's really warming me up.
Yeah. Well. All right, Thomas 2, folks. There you got it. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to pass that out for folks there. It's just too dry. Let's pour out a little. Man, I can smell that. Whew, man.
Yeah, it's not a good rum.
Yeah, it just smells like booze. All right. Back when I was a kid, some of the things that the peoples used to drink a lot was the Canadian whiskeys. That they would have out.
C&C, Lord
Canadian,
Calvert Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian Club and stuff, and it was just the most vile kinds of blended whiskeys.
Mix it with your Coke.
You pour it in Coke, and so you'd have this kind of burning alcohol flavor. That's probably what that's for.
I got to tell you a funny story about Lord Calvert Canadian and Coke. So when I was a wee lass, I was with me papa, and I went to a party with a bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And me father, my papa, was a horse person. I'm not much of a horse person. Me family's into horses. I'm not much into a horse. Oh, you know what you call a horse?
A hole in the barn floor you shove money into.
That's right. So I went to this party, and it was sponsored by Lord Calvert Canadian. It was a bunch of the Canadians were there, and I drank Lord Calvert Canadian Coke, and I went back to my father's lodge, and I don't know what time it was, but I woke up. We'd had a barbecue that day, and I woke up and I just puked all over that place, and I had my stepmother, and I puked, and I went back to sleep. I passed out, and I made my stepmother clean it up. I left it there for days inside the lodge. I went and slept in me tent, and my stepmother was not happy. That's what Lord Calvert Canadian and Coke will do to you.
I'm sure.
And that's what that would do to you if you drink too much of it.
I'm sure she still remembers that one there.
Nah, she's passed away.
Oh, well. I remember when you talk about Canadian Club and the old Canadian whiskies, I remember a song by George Jones where he'd say, let's see, let me do my best George Jones here. Let's see here now. How does that go? She watered back to tequila sunrise. One's for my aching head, the other for my bloodshot eyes. That's the only thing I remember about CC Canadian whiskey there, Canadian Club.
We digress from rum to whiskey to George Jones.
Hey, you get to talking.
That's right. You have fun. Get to talking.
Yep.
Thinking about the past.
Well, folks,
We're not fans of George Jones.
not really, but he was a classic country, and I don't have a problem with classic country that much, as long as it's classic country. So we're
Just
gonna,
a dragger. Just
we'll pour a little bit out here now. Folks, we miss you so much. We hope you're doing so well, and we're going to see here at all our future pirate festivals and things. But you got to hold it together and stick with it, folks, until we get there. And I say to you now, be strong. Always be true to yourself. Never let anyone grind you under their boot heels, because you know what? You be a pirate.
That's right.
And you don't have to take shite from nobody. Be authentic. Stick with your pirate family and your pirate community. And we'll all get through this difficult time together, folks. We'll come out on the other side and we'll have a big grand party and we'll enjoy ourselves.
You know, Captain Sangre said it best that missing the North Glen Pirate Fest, which would have been this weekend,
Yar.
that we're recording this, that he's looking forward to it more next year, almost like it was new.
Yeah, just
Now-
brand new.
Now, also, I want to mention that the IPC, International Pirate Community, the Year of the Women Pirate,
Oh.
is just doing their Kickstarter for the women playing cards.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, the
it's-
cards.
It's 54 cards. You have your normal 52, but then you've got your 2 jokers. Women pirates throughout the pirating community all over the world.
Yar.
It's nothing but women. I myself am the Ace of Spades,
Thanks, Lemmy.
the Death card, and that'll be going. That's on really soon. And I think they only have a few more cards. We have a few of our friends. Kirsten is she's in the hearts, and then Piratessa, who is going to be in the clubs.
Yar.
Who are women that we know,
Yar.
who we got to be involved in this. So
That's true.
back it. It's not a Kickstarter or anything. Pre-sale, I think, is $15 or $20 for the cards. It's going to the international pirate community.
True.
Also, the 2022 International Pirate Community Rendezvous will be in North America. We
Yar.
don't have a location yet.
But we'll find out.
We will be finding out. I am actually on the committee
Yar.
to help organize this, so
Excellent,
we're going to
excellent.
try and definitely make that, because we've got to be a part of that.
We truly got to be part of that there, pirate community folks. Maybe we can even do a live pirate round from there, because we've got our own tent and everything we can do. So
Well, I know we're going to try and get some of the big name pirate bands like Evenge Privateers and Pat Rasket and Stormfern
Yar.
and many of the others.
Blazing Stone.
I doubt that. Was
Still.
that'd be interesting.
That'd be good.
Blazing
Yeah.
Stone.
Pirate metal.
That's right.
So there you go, folks. We will love you. Like, share, and subscribe, and stab that button with your cutlash, and smooth sailing your heart.
Stay healthy. Don't be flying the Yellow Jack.